Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today is my June monthly musings, reflections on the previous month, and all I can say is summer is going too fast. But I also like to apologize if there's any glare that shows up on the cards in the video because it is very early morning when I am recording this, so yeah, there might be, some overhead light glaring on the cards. But anyway, um, June was a month of reflections. It was reflecting on endings and beginnings and on authenticity and journeys and a bunch of things, because by the time you're seeing this video, it should be the very first week of July, and I'm only like 5 weeks, I think, 5 weeks away from my 1 year here on YouTube. And it has me reflecting on a lot, and the whole past year, and content and that kind of things. But what stood out to me most were these two cards in June: the Unmask Your Darkness, Speak True, and then the affirmation, I am a multi-dimensional woman. And this one, especially with the Speak True, really resonated deep within me. It made me think about, there's more to me than just this, or there's and this. And I tend to put labels on myself, and I need to stop doing that and embracing all the bits of me. So I've been thinking about my channel here and thinking about there's other things about my practice that I would like to start sharing with you. So, like, connecting with spirit guides. I spent an entire year connecting people in a message board through readings to their spirit guides, so then they would know how to work with them. I would like to talk about my experience with mediumship and what it's actually like to get a message from spirit and know how to pass that on to someone else. And I'd like to do more week ahead readings, not just like let's read tarot, but actual readings on my channel. So I don't know if any of that interests you. You can let me know in the comments below. So the very first part of June was focused on my son's graduation party. And that is where the ending comes in. And it was a lot of work. We rented a hall, and I had to cook for, I think we had 65 people respond that they were coming. I'm pretty sure, I think that's how many came too. So it was a lot of cooking, but it was a very nice turnout, and it was a nice time, and it kind of wrapped up the end of everything to do with my kid in high school. So we are on to the next chapter of college, and he will be leaving in about 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, somewhere in there, which is going to go way too fast considering how fast the month of June went. But after I recuperated from that whole endeavor, I decided to jump into my craft room and make some pendulum bracelets. I made pendulums several years ago, and I had made a lot of them at that time and sold off most of them. And I saw this concept of making it into a bracelet, which you would just take this and hook it here, and then that hangs down. It hangs down a little bit too much for me, so I think I would eliminate some of the links. But I made each one for a purpose to use up a lot of the supplies that I have. And I don't know, I'm thinking of, I showed a friend these, and she's like, oh, are you going to sell those? So I might make a few to sell. I don't know. If I do, I'll post it on my channel. But anyway, so this one I made for like, to deal with spirits, spirit communication, ancestors, whatever, that kind of thing. And these have hematite beads on them. And I put a little ceramic skull here, and the point is an opalite. And then this one, because you know this girl loves her evil eyes, it has a sodalite as the natural bead on here, and then another little ceramic skull, and this is, I want to say blue sandstone. I have the paper upstairs of what it is, or blue sunstone. One of those. Maybe you could correct me in the comments. But it's the dark blue with the sparkly bits in it. I think it's blue sandstone. That was another one that's like ancestor or spirit. This is more spirit, and I think the hematite is more ancestor. And then I made this one. This would be my travel pendulum. And it is beach themed because a girl loves the beach, and I love the ocean, but we don't get there very often. So, because it's so far from us. But this has Amazonite and a blue agate on it with my little anchor and flip-flops. And then it also has opalite on the end and a little seahorse here. And then just the fur in general, this is my next one that has rose quartz. And I think this is called rhodochrosite. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't have rhodonite. I'm pretty sure that's rhodochrosite, and it has some flowers and hearts and a little feather. And it has a cherry quartz on the end. But they all have a clasp. And you can hook them on the links. And then they would hang. I don't know how to show it on here. And it would hang down. I wore it on my wrist and let it do its thing, and I hung or held it and let it do its thing. The only thing is, because it hangs so low, I don't think it would be very practical to like wear out and about. More like of a novelty type thing. So let's get into some cards. So these were the 3 decks that I used together for readings and a couple weeks for card pulls. And the reason I say only a couple weeks is when I show you a couple things in my journal, you'll know why. So I think this is the Super Lunaris Spark Edition, the Divine Nature Oracle, and then that Wisdom of Alma. They work beautifully together, especially these two, the Divine Nature and then the affirmation cards, the Wisdom of the Alma. The messages, I just love them. So, you know, receive your worthiness. I am my own home, and I say who is welcome here. And then it just, I don't know, it was a very powerful combination for me. So I will definitely be pairing these 3 decks together again. I've talked about the Divine Nature when I showed my spring and summer deck collection. That's not right. My spring and summer deck haul of the decks that I had just received over the past 4 months. So, but yeah, these are a favorite combination of mine. So I will definitely be pairing them together again. 3 other decks that I paired together in the month of June were the Angels and Gemstones Guardian cards, which, geez, I have had this deck forever and a day. The Earth Wisdom Oracle by Barbara Moore and Christina Scagliotti, I think is how you say the name. And then the mini version of the Universal Celtic Tarot. In my little private members group, I would pull a crystal for the week to ground into that to ground. Sorry, it's early. To ground into the energy for the week. And then midweek, I would do like a midweek check-in, and then a wrap up with the Universal Celtic Tarot. And these decks work beautifully. Are these upside down? Oh no. These decks worked really beautifully together, which I say that a lot. But the messages, they just tied so well into each other, especially taking the energy of the crystal and tying it in with the Universal Celtic, and it just like, it was like seamlessly how it all went through the week. So yeah, this week or this month we're working with water decks, and I will show you those too. So a couple other decks that I used, which I talked about this, I think it was last month, where I talked about pairing the Woman's Runes by Molly Reamer together with the Earthly Moon, or Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle. I am loving the messages I'm getting with this deck combination here, because what I'm doing is I'm pulling a rune to represent the energy for the next new moon cycle, and I happen to get the crescent moon. So it's a rune of divination ritual, a door to unconsciousness. Now these weren't the exact cards that I got, but I would read through the guidebook, and a guidebook for the woman's rune, and then I would look at what stuck out to me, and then I would pull cards just for the certain things that stuck out to me in Molly's write-up. So there was a sentence that talked about this rune bringing in like the magic, truths, and ritual. So I'd pulled 4 cards, and focused one to the door to unconsciousness, and then I pulled a card for magic, a card for truth, and a card for ritual. And this deck, oh, I could just sit here and flip through and just look at this deck over and over, because it is just stunning. I just think the images are so beautiful. The color palette is gorgeous. I don't know. I really like this kind of art. So, but yeah, this is the second month, like I said, that I've been doing this combination. This is going to continue for now. So my journal, things kind of took a different turn in my journal because I was too tired to do some readings. That's the one reason. But I've been seeing doorways, oval portals, or whatever in my mind's eye and in my dreams. But I've had so much going on in life that I didn't have time to explore any of those energies, what it might mean. And I'm a big believer in synchronicities, a huge believer in synchronicities, especially when things appear for me in multiple different ways. So, maybe I'm choose to watch a video on YouTube and it's not about portals, but somehow portals get wrapped up into that video. Or like my husband who was talking to me about a podcast and started talking about portals and these doorways to these other dimensions, and which I've never talked to him about these dreams of these doorways and portals and things. Or a friend who doesn't do any of this, and they bring the word portal into a conversation, my ears really perk up and I pay very close attention to those types of synchronicities because I know that it means something bigger for me. So one evening, I just sat down and started drawing. I'm no artist. I'm hesitant about even showing these because probably a 5-year-old could draw better. But anyway, and these pictures just came about organically. I wasn't sitting there with a sketch or trying to, follow along with something. I just started drawing, and, my high priestess here came through for the full moon. And then another evening I was drawing, and it started with just this doorway. And, then this came about. And then this was the week before the summer solstice. And I just started out drawing her, and it was just her on a page. And then I just started gluing pieces of paper, magazine pieces, and that sort down on the page. And when I looked at it later, it made me look at, like, she's ready to step through that doorway and into the energy of the summer solstice. She's preparing for it here with her staff. And I have a use your power and chart your course words that I stuck in there. So I enjoyed doing that. And the whole synchronicity of this whole thing was, I think it was towards the end of the month, Dawn Michelle did a collab with Candy of Candy Soul and Soil, and Candy talked about drawing in journals and almost being like a form of divination in itself. And I don't know, it just seemed like to all flow together so perfectly this month. But as far as the rest of my journal goes, it's all the same. I did the same thing. The new moon, I did my I'm still doing my word of the year and writing things down in correspondence with that word. And I'm also still doing my card of the month and card of the year. And so there was nothing exciting about that. So another thing I did get to do is work in my ancestor journal that is getting a little chunky here. That ancestor journal is from that creating it along with that ancestral grimoire that I've talked about for several months. But June was focused on the ancestor of the sun. Is that what that was? Because last month was the moon. Yes, the ancestor of the sun. And here's my moon. I just created her this month because I didn't have a chance to do it in May. But when I was going through images in that to put on here for ancestor of the sun, he was just like, pick me. It was such a powerful image when I put him down here. And I have on here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually a death card. And it was because when he came, stepped forward for me, all he talked about to me was about transformations and the endings of things. And so that's why I put the death card on there to remind me of that. And once this year is over and I have all 12 cards made, which, by the way, if you're doing that ancestral grimoire, she only has you make the card for like 1 month, but I've continued it through every month now, which I've shown on here, but in case you happen to be new, so I've made a card each month for my ancestors and the spirits that I've worked with. And I am going to, I think, put these in with my handmade ancestor cards and put them all together. And I'm going to add some other additional cards to that, which I've only shown briefly on here. But I think I might do another video working with those cards, but we'll see. So that was something else that I took time out to do. 3 more decks that I paired together was the Tarot of Vampires, which this is the original one, not the new one that Llewellyn's put out. The Vintage Wisdom Oracle and the Memento Mori Oracle, Lenormand Oracle combo deck, which is independent. First of all, these decks are gorgeous together, laid out on a table. But more than that, they speak very well with each other. This pairing was fantastic. I would definitely use this combination again. So what I used it for. I mentioned a few times on my channel about the mediumship that I have done and that I do for clients. And but when I do mediumship, I've said this also before, I don't read them through cards. I channel the messages through. But Soul Dreamer here on TarotTube showed her mediumship spread. So I wanted to play around with it and see what kind of results I got from it and how it worked for me. And it was lovely. I liked the communication I got from it. It was very easy to see things in this grouping with these cards. So that's how I discovered that these 3 work very well together. I know not everybody talks to spirits or does that kind of readings to get communication from spirit, but if you do, this pairing is great. If you don't, this pairing is still great. And maybe where this is a little dark, I think this brings a little bit of more gentler energy to the reading also, the Vintage Wisdom. I'm still debating about whether or not to write a keyword on these cards somewhere. I would prefer it to have some sort of keyword on there. So I'm still considering doing that. So I have a question for you. If you would like to know more about my mediumship readings and how I go about it and how I process those messages, let me know in the comments, because I was thinking of possibly doing that, but I'm hesitant at the same time. And if we go all the way back to the beginning of the video, that's where those two cards come in, is step out of the darkness, or unmask your darkness and speak true. Because authenticity is becoming like this huge word in my life, especially when it comes to my channel. There's a whole side of my practice that I haven't shared on here, or that I've just talked about in snippets, because I was just unsure. And I feel like I'm like hiding these parts of myself. And I know I don't need to share all my practice. I understand that. But it's something that I'm thinking about or considering doing. Even the connecting to spirit guide energy, I'm considering doing. But back to the cards. This is a wonderful pairing. So if you're looking for something to pair with Tarot Vampires, both of these or either one of them would work beautifully. So the last few decks I'm going to show you are actually the decks I will be using in July for myself and in July for clients. This is a new one to me, and I think I showed this in my spring-summer deck haul, and that's the Sea Melodies by Jessica Lee. I really like this little affirmation, or little, I don't know, what would you call this? I guess a little affirmation type deck. But anyway, for, oh, is it upside down? For clients, I have it set up where we're going to pull a song from the sea, since it's called Sea Melodies, to start our week. And then the mermaids will come in to amplify the message midweek. And this is the messages from the Mermaids Oracle. This is on Hay House. And then I wrap up the week with the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson. This is my favorite Mermaid Tarot. But for me, I'm going to use Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot. Because I don't really work with it enough. When I want a mermaid deck, I'm constantly pulling this one because I've had it for so many years and I've worked with it so much that I'm just more comfortable with it, I guess. So I'm going to try, I don't know if these are, oh, well, I guess this goes this way. But I'm going to try to work with Dame Darcy. Did I say that wrong the first time? Deck. Oh God. So, because I haven't worked with it and I really need to get to know it better. Everybody raves about this one. So I want to form a better connection to it. But yeah, these will be the decks that I'm using in July. And I really like this one from Hay House, which is another one I don't really see many people talking about. I think these are the only watery decks that I have. I don't have any other ones. So that is it. That wraps up my June musings. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up It helps my channel. And until I see you next time, bye.